Hello, we are back. I'm Gabriella. This is Istvan, and we are making interviews about different cases, different aspects of this matrix drop system because it is so complex. So it takes some time to understand, how to do different things. Basically, you don't have to be afraid of the complexity of this whole system because we are here and we know how to navigate someone in that. But we thought that it would be beneficial to make an interview about the computer, the scanner itself, because it's always a question, what kind of results you can find on the computer and how it works. So I think I will say two sentences about like, why do we say that 8 million kind of information patterns can come up, but basically it's not the information pattern. Basically, we have several thousands of basic information patterns available. Why we are talking about 8 million is that we are talking about the different combination of these several thousands of patterns. So this is why no one is similar to another person, because the computer is making a very complex picture out of these basic patterns. So from this, I give you the opportunity to talk about what you find to be very beneficial.
Thank you. Matrix Apps Computer is a part of my everyday life. The greatest help in my life, in my family life, in my well-being, in my health. And what I would like to add to your introduction and introducing words is that the reason why Matrix Apps protocol is such a complex is because what the protocol is based on, which is András's life work, as his discovery, how much more we are as what we have been taught and imagine ourselves as human beings by the materialistic, I always make a mistake in these words, worldview. So in his healing system, he's the first who explained we are more dimensional beings. And he set up his theory that it's a 7-dimensional quantum physical human being we are. Which means that in this system, which build up as dimensions, and the human, not the mind, but the consciousness controls the 7 kingdom, gives the importance of beside the physical body or above it, the energies, feelings, thoughts, relations, the soul and the spirit. So in this 7-dimensional being, if there's disturbances, I will manifest the physical problem, what I call sickness. This is the body reaction, how the body is communicating to me something is incorrect. And it's a beautiful way, if I understand it, that the sicknesses are friends of us. My sickness is my best friend, who's actually warning me that I do something wrong instead of dying in something without being aware. This is how we have to understand our problems. So we have a chance given to discover, and this is an amazing way to choose Matrix Apps Computer, which reading these 7-dimensional beings, and in this case, the most modern tactics are built into this amazing touchpad, which surface is made of gold. For the discovery, which is András's live dream, he had to travel to NASA, where the best techniques, where the best developments are. And he was able to manifest his life dream to create this computer, because he was able to measure these informations, these dimensions with his divining rod. And it's also a part of his teaching to learn it. But this is a great help by Matrix Ops computer when 8 millions of information patterns involved, and it's immediately shows accurately where the disturbance is. So if we understand ourselves as a 7-dimensional beings, we can actually live in awareness, and we can take control on our health. The reason why Matrix Drops protocol is so complex is because today, and mostly today, the environment became poisonous. Possibly never ever before in life of humanity. And our 7-dimensional being, these very sensitive dimensions we have, very, very sensitive dimensions, are showing mostly the disturbance to these environmental problems. And this have been also discovered by the most modern science, like the epigenetics, for example, which have been proved that the genetics can create several different forms depending on the environment they are in. Every cell of us inside us is a living cell. That's why we have to feed the cells, because if we see a separated cell in a lab, for example, if it feels the poison, immediately goes away. Because we lost this sensitivity and we feed ourselves with poisonous food, the cell will react. So the Matrix Ops computer is an amazing possibility to being informed about our higher dimensional being, and it shows where the disturbance is. Anybody can have a computer today, and they can monitor themselves. Let's see what are those patterns, what we can discover by the computer. And back to this amazing system, for example, in this computer also, a Tesla coil is a part of it, which has been invented by Tesla, an amazing scientist, which allows the computer to step out from space and time. Because for the consciousness, there's no space and time exist. So what we can measure? We can measure informational disturbances caused by, for example, malnutrition. If I'm feeding myself, it's not feeding, but we are eating something which is poisonous for the body. It's amazing to know, because we can avoid problems for the future by being aware and leave these things out from our nutrition. We can see as a feedback if geopathic stress is disturbing ourselves. And mostly it's important by the night when we sleep. If we are constantly sleeping in long term in underground earth rays, above underground earth rays, the body will create sicknesses. And the progression only stops when a good position is chosen. We can be advised by the computer if disturbing entities are present with us, because the entities attached on us, or the entities are present in the environment and the atmosphere became nervous, for example.
About the environment, like how big environment are we talking about?
Mostly we're talking about our homes or our offices, where we spend the most of our time. Many people discover the sleeping disturbances, or they say at home, they're missing the peace in the family. They feel nervous, for example. I can tell you several cases when children, behavior changed when the spirits have been relieved,
Mm-hmm.
held true to the spiritual word. One child, for example, and she was 3 years of age at the time, didn't talk a word. And when the spirits had been removed from the environment, she started to communicate on that day with a mother. So this is an amazing thing to get information from what ourselves might never be aware of. Just to understand what the seventh kingdom means, the human consciousness and the seven-dimensional human model.
Yes, yeah. I just asked you because, you know, I have some clients who have difficulties with this, you know, the whole theory of entities, and I know that there was a scientist from NASA, you know, a lady who said it's not a question, you know, if there are entities or not. The question is like, how long can we keep it a secret that there are entities? You know, but it's really not a secret because the Bible is talking about it. All the books are talking about it. So I don't know how we can call it a secret, but science basically is keeping it like as a secret. Sorry for saying that, but I just
No. It's amazing what you said, but it's not the scientists who declare, for example, Albert Einstein or Albert Szent-Györgyi, who got a Nobel Award for the discovery of vitamin C, or discovery made in muscle, that they received the idea when they stopped in their discovery from the spiritual world. So they all declare from themselves that they are mediums. So as NASA scientists today. So we can also get information disturbances from information disturbances caused by bacteria or viruses, for example. Matrix Labs computer, after comparing 8 million of informations compared with a person, we are also comparing with the behavioral patterns of bacteria and viruses. So because the immune system is deceived by the virus, the immune system is not aware that it's present in the system. But when we are discovering which is the actual virus, we can communicate the information pattern to our highest beings, which will immediately recognize and destroy the intruders.
so you basically
it's also an amazing possibility.
letting your system know about that it is there, because our immune system is just not aware of that.
Not because they have been progressed, they tricks, if I can say this way, how they can deceive the immune system, so they're not aware. And there are also sleeping viruses inside us, which can be activated when the immune system is down. It's also a possibility and offered by Matrix Drops computer. We can also discover patterns of heavy metals. The accumulation of heavy metals are a very common problem today. We have been previously talked many topics in case of heavy metals, how much people are changing their behavior. Sometimes they say the mental state is changing. And Matrix Drops is the only computer which is accurately discover the information patterns of the heavy metals. So in this case, it's that's why it's so complex, and that's why 8 million of information patterns involved. I always ask people when they do the reading, the scan with me, what is the interest? I like to open their consciousness to the higher dimensions to understand how important is it to gain their energy, because if the energy is weak, the immune system is weak, so they can't overcome the problems. But it could be also, somebody's interest can be also spiritual. When they are interested about the journey, they want to discover who they are. which is much more than we ever been told or ever been told for. Amazing possibilities given to discover the intelligence, our long-term goals, or depending on the lives we live, the constant life of the spirit, we can see those skills we have been gained. These are knowledges which never dies with the human body, with the body, but these are the codes, maybe I can say this way, which is decoded in the spirit, so we can actually reveal it, and this is how we can enjoy or manifest the reality. So everybody's interest is different. Of course, it could be health reason, if they want to discover what they never heard ever before. Why do they feel the pain and why it's constantly present in their system? But also if somebody would like to discover themselves. And in this case also informational patterns, matrix is involved, for example, for the constellation, the star signs, for example, which gives weaknesses, also strengths. We can also benefit ourselves with the power of the crystals, stones. We can discover missing elements, the information patterns of a missing element. Magnesium, for example, if you're lacking some vitamins. So it's such a complex reading. Maybe Max Planck, the amazing scientist, was able to describe this beautiful word of matrix drops when he said that above the material world, what we can see under microscope, from the scientists who researched the reason, or let's say the matter itself through his life, and he said that he discovered that no matter or no material exists as such. So we are a manifestation of energies, which is controlled by consciousness. And this is the field, this is the amazing world of matrix drops we can awaken inside everyone. That's why I started with a 7-dimensional human prototype, so we are, to understand our possibilities, to discover ourselves and understand we are much more than what we can physically experience.
So this is, yeah, I believe that now the option for this scanner, which is the computer we are talking about, is that someone has a laptop, any kind of laptop, and they can buy a touchpad, which is, containing the scanners. If I'm correct, there are 5 of them. 5 different kinds of scanners are in this touchpad, as far as I know, and they can connect.
The light spectrometer, for example, you mean?
Yes.
The most modern techniques are involved, which is used by NASA telescopes, for example, which through the whole galaxy is discovered. And this, one of the inventors' intent to discover the galaxy inside us. He was the first one who came up with the idea to turn the spectrum to see what's within, instead of see what's around. But if you remember the words of Hermes Trismegistus, Pharaoh, as he said, what is up, so below. What is outside, so inside. So it's an amazing way to discover and find out who we are. Emotional blockages, because today not only autoimmune reactions but big impacts, and most likely nearly everyone deals with some emotional problems, like for example depression. And it's amazing when you do the reading and you see it in front of you, that you are depressed? And what is the information pattern? What is the disturbance why you are depressed? And these are feelings which can be dissolved by and from our higher dimensional being, which is capable to bring ourselves such an amazing proofs, which we call health or well-being, that we couldn't imagine ever before. For this, in matrix drops, the language have been decoded, which is understood by the consciousness. So it's not an energy, and it's not even homeopathy like, for example. So it's not a wave, it's not a frequency, but it's a dimension up. So with matrix of information pattern, the common language have been decoded, which is understood by the consciousness, which is the soul. And if we would like to ask an amazing healing from ourselves, we have to be able to communicate with its own language. If I start talking with me like, please heal me, please, I would like to heal myself, the verbal communication is not understood by the consciousness. It has its language. And this is the language, this is the informational language which have been decoded and stabilized. This word is what's called matrix drops.
Thank you so much.
And there's an amazing possibility to see how I can achieve the feeling I'm looking for, well-being I'm looking for. Which are those patterns which is blocking me? What do I have to put down? What is my negative, and how I can overcome these negative things inside me? It's an amazing possibility. Matrix drops choosing in 30 seconds the accurate homeopathic information patterns for everyone, which might take months or years of research work for a homeopath. It's amazing how quickly we can informed by these amazing words. And thanks to the Tesla call possibly, and this amazing invention by András Kovács Magyar, we can actually program the space. We can program our rooms, our atmosphere. There are programs which we can impregnate our rooms with, like for example, the Schumann resonance. This is the missing atmosphere in the outer space. So today the spaceships are impregnating the inner fields, the inner field in the spaceship, to keep the astronauts healthy when they are going outside the atmosphere. For example, after flying in intercontinental planes, we can reset, because very often, and that's the danger, of flying, we can reset this frequency in ourselves. So I personally using matrix apps computer to reset the Schumann resonance after flying, for example. But also we can run programs for studies, which has the brain frequencies for the most optional, the best studies. We can run programs for meditation.
Like we have more than 10. I think we have more than 10 different kinds of options.
Remember, in the summertime, we can run a mosquito program. And around maybe 5-8 meter range, the mosquitoes are leaving ourselves, giving us some chance to enjoy the summer if they are present. So it's what we're talking about is only a few years of experiences, but the possibility in this communication is endless, and we just have been started to discover this beautiful word and how we can actually use the matrix of computer.
Yeah, I know even the inventor said that he is like from time to time he is being amazed by, you know, by the results,
He
because
said that it became better than he actually thought. And one more amazing capacity, we can scan our children's, we can scan our clients, even horses, let's say animals, or even a plant or a field, by just thinking about it. Matrix Labs computer is the proof of the existence of the morphogenetic fields, which show we are, as living beings, living consciousnesses, connected. This is how we can get the same accurate reading, even if the person is not present, but for example, on the other side of planet Earth, and we can have them as well.
yeah,
So that's why we say that the possibilities are endless.
yeah, it's just a question of time, you know, because we are living in space and time, so we have to give some time, for example, getting rid of, you know, heavy metals and these kind of information patterns. You know, we need to give some time, and this is why I'm telling all my clients that, you know, start it while you are healthy. You know, don't wait for, you know, any kind of symptoms to surface, because then maybe it's too late. And even if it's not too late, it takes like, you know, as like, let's take in my case, it was like a half year struggling still, you know, to see the first symptoms disappearing. So it's better to get rid of these poisonous and really not beneficial materials, you know.
I fully agree with you, and that's why the matrix of lifestyle itself is preventative. An intelligent person today goes forward and prevent these problems,
Yes.
especially by being aware that the last few years, possibly the last 3-5 years, life as today exists, developed more than in the last few centuries.
Yes.
And these changes we have to be aware of, and we have to be updated,
Yes.
which is very, very important for intelligent person.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I hope that everyone was able to, you know, find one or two, you know, really interesting facts, and you know, that's enough so that they can dig in and find out more
And
about.
discover themselves the opportunities the matrix apps computers offers. Ourselves into instructors, we are introducing this system, the matrix apps computer and the protocol worldwide, to leading business people, businessmen. I have been dealing with a minister in Congo. The interest can bring the most intelligent people together. So if I was able to give a little bit of a intent for people to try it or just search after it, I feel that it was a good conversation. If not, I'm a terrible talker. Sorry for that.
You know, our English is not perfect, but what we are talking about, it is, so it's worth it, you know. And how I see, you know, the numbers of the viewers, you know, they are really not being embarrassed, because they are being, you know, engaged, because the computer world, the internet is measuring that also, you know, if they are just like rolling through or they are being engaged. So they are watching, and they are learning. And what I didn't really want to um, avoid during this interview is that it is not a secret that our dream is that families will own one of these computers, so that everyone can scan themselves and learn and get a, you know, really a conversation with themselves, because this is what we are doing. So this is what we are working on. And you know, it's not the future, it is the present, you know. Family,
And the future as well.
yeah,
Yes.
families do own these kind of computers, and they do learn how to live with this lifestyle. and they have much, much more peace than the unfortunate others. So thank you so much. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful weekend. Thank you for your time. You know, like, is it a secret? It's not a secret. It is Sunday. So, you know, there has to be a kind of like, you know, an information pattern for workaholic symptoms.
There
No,
is.
we came together because, yeah, we are working during the week, and these interviews will be online, we hope, forever. So just so to be available for everyone in the present and in the future. And we are doing our best so you can understand what we are talking about.
The word I would like to say goodbye to you and to everyone is that this was the pattern came up. You just mentioned to me in the morning when I scanned myself. So this accurately we can see ourselves, our challenges, our intelligence, our interest, and
This is cute. This is cute.
so thank you very much again for the possibility. It's a good laugh at the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you very much, and for all.
Bye.